Hello, welcome to today's Tambini Marketing Ask Jade video. Today I'm going to talk about how to get results from your marketing and specifically answer the question I hear a lot is why am I not seeing results from my marketing? So I've broken this down into 5 key areas that I think is a large reason as to why companies are not seeing results from their marketing. And then I'll finish with some hints and tips as to how you can turn that around and how you can start to see results from your marketing. The biggest thing that I see when it comes to not getting results from marketing can often be around companies working with different marketing partners without a clear brief in place. So a lot of companies, especially business to business brands, but often consumer brands as well, it might be that their activities they're investing in are a little bit too siloed. So what I mean by that is they may bring on a PR company. Naturally, when that relationship starts, the PR company will ask, what do you need to achieve? Is there a set marketing plan that we need to work towards? What is it that we're measuring in terms of what success looks like? What often happens with businesses that don't have large formed marketing teams is that they don't know how to answer those questions. So it will often be fairly woolly in the sense of they're clear about the type of things they want to achieve in terms of getting extra sales leads or changing perception in the marketplace or growing brand awareness, but it's not tight and it's not succinct. So I often have conversations where partnerships have broken down through no fault of either party, but where there's a gap in providing that clear brief of what's expected. A great example of that could be if a company, say, is invested in a search engine optimization or digital marketing partnership, and they're paying a certain amount per month. And after 6 months, they're not really sure. They ask the marketing partner, what have we really achieved? And the marketing partner will tend to say, well, we would need for you to have also worked on certain elements internally to turn what we've done into sales. So there becomes a bit of a gap to be bridged. So that's a really big area where no one's really in the wrong, but there's a bit of a breakdown. And so I've actually seen a lot of partnerships end for those reasons, where actually all that was needed was a clear strategy so that the partner knew what needed to be delivered and the client knew what needed to be measured. Another key area is when there's too many channels. So if a brand or a business takes on too many different forms of marketing than they can handle, so they end up sort of jumping on to different techniques and channels without giving real concerted effort, and that can be a real challenge. So classic example could be that there's a small marketing team, maybe even just one individual who's asked to run email marketing, look after data, look after social media, look after advertising, PR events, all great. But once you start going into detail there, if there's 7 social media channels, it might be that business only really needed 2. And what matters is, where are the target customers spending their time and where should we put our resources? So that can often happen when there's a lack of a marketing plan or strategy. There's no real clarity as to what the best channels can be. So it's a bit of a spray and pray situation going on. That can be really common. Also, there can be businesses where there is a marketing plan, but it's not necessarily been set up correctly in terms of how that's going to be delivered. So there could be the best plan in the world, but if the company's not resourced in terms of the team hasn't got the right skill sets, you can find a case of sort of square peg round hole, where you're trying to get a person who hasn't really got digital skills to run digital campaigns, but it's not quite working because the experience isn't there. So very much what I find here is about looking at job descriptions, what is expected, is that directly linked to the marketing plan and activity that needs to be put in place, and where there isn't that internal expertise, maybe there's external partners that are required or consultancy to guide the process. So that's another big one. It just also in relation to teams, I often can hear about situations where a business may have a marketing assistant or even a marketing manager, but no one on the board who's at marketing expertise. So it can often be the case that there's expectations that are too high of internal marketing resource whereby an assistant is generally employed to implement activities. A manager is employed to set a plan, and a director will be employed to set the strategy and direction. So where a company's only got a marketing executive, it can be really easy to assume that the marketing executive isn't performing, but actually the marketing executive is working really, really hard, but the job description and what's needed out of the marketing function is misaligned. That can be really common. And lastly, another reason that a lot of companies aren't seeing results in their marketing, it can simply be that there is no strategy, and even that the budget is not large enough or is not allocated correctly. So when you have a clear strategy in place as to what needs to be achieved for the company, and a marketing plan that answers the question, how will we deliver that growth and how will we deliver on that business strategy with a good budget that's aligned with what needs to be achieved, a realistic budget, and that's when you see results from marketing. So if a company, for example, has a very aggressive market and has very aggressive growth targets but a very low budget, it's quite quickly easy to see that not enough investment is going into getting the plan moving and flowing. So once you start to see return on investment, then there's more confidence grown in investing in marketing. So I often find that businesses feel nervous to increase their spend if they haven't been seeing results. So that's why strategy is so important, to go, okay, what does good look like? What is it that we need to achieve and how will we achieve it? And then you can start to measure, okay, we spent X and it delivered Y. And that's where really effective marketing starts to come into play. It's not only in terms of, I don't advise every company I speak to increase your budget. It's also about how is that budget optimized and where is it placed, and assessing the different the data and metrics behind and reporting behind each different channel. So a company could be spending a huge amount of their budget on pay-per-click advertising or digital marketing, but actually it's not been set up in a way that's most effective. So a lot of the time it can be about just tweaking and optimizing what's already happening, and getting partners on the right track to make sure that those relationships start to work. So I hope you found this useful. My main message is always about, in terms of getting results from marketing, where there's a strategy, that's really the only way to get results from marketing, where we connect directly all of the marketing activity with what the business needs to achieve. That is really the only way to get results from marketing. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, or if there's any topics you'd like me to cover in future videos, please let me know. As you can see, I'm in the office today for the first time since lockdown has allowed me to be, so it's interesting to be back, and I hope to update you with some more topics soon. Thank you.